Hello my YouTube friends. I just wanted to come back and give you an update, but first of all I want to say thank you to any of my new subscribers and a continued thank you for my current followers. Um, Basically I want to come back and give you a quick update. I had my 6-month checkup with my neurologist on Friday the 24th of February, and everything went well. Basically, I got checked in by the nurse, had my vitals done, and then the neurologist, the nurse came in to get me to take me to the neurologist's office, which I love the setting of my neurologist's office because it was a bit more personal, and I hadn't met in his office since my diagnosis, and that was in May 2015 was the first and last time, because after that I was in clinical trials. Therefore I met in another part of the neurologist's office in a whole different section, and it wasn't as personal at that point because you're just going through all of the clinical trial stuff, and then the doctor will come in where you are. So I liked the fact of now I'll be meeting in his office after I get through with the nurse. It keeps me a bit calmer. I feel my blood pressure was the best since going there to the neurologist, and I think my blood well, I'm pretty sure I had the white coat syndrome with all that was going on during the clinical trials. But anyway, the appointment went well. Basically, he wanted to know how was I doing and since the last time he saw me 6 months ago, and he went over my labs. All my labs were good, and basically I just, he asked me on a scale of 1 to 10, have I had any pain, and what number would I grade the pain. And basically I told him that if and when I had any pain, I guess I would put it on the scale of an 8, but that I really hadn't suffered with constant pain. My pain would consist of the ice pick headaches, which I would put them, well, I did tell him I would put those on a scale of a 10, but it didn't. The ice pick headaches doesn't last long, so they're tolerable, but that scale of 10 would not be tolerable if it was just constant pain. That I would have to go to the hospital for, because that's excruciating. But because it's just like a jab and then it's over with, and then sometime it might be a jab back to back, I can tolerate that better than a constant feeling of that type, that level of pain. He then said that he didn't want me to experience any pain, and that he would opt to start me on some medication to just wipe out, so I wouldn't have to deal with any pain, any ice pick headaches. I told him no, I didn't want any other drugs. He said it was my choice, and of course it is my choice, but it was just that he didn't want me suffering, and I don't consider that suffering because the ice pick headaches have diminished quite a bit since he suggested that I sleep in my dental guard to keep from clenching, and that really helped because I don't get the ice pick headaches as often as I was prior to doing that. So we got past that, and I was telling him about sometime I get pain in my thigh, and that would be on a scale of an 8, and it's just shooting pain, and nothing has been constant. But the kicker is when I told him that I have experienced some dizziness, and that I had some dizziness that lasted a couple of days, and I said, and I chalked that up to that I just needed rest. And he sat back in his chair and he said, I know you are new to this MS, and we're going to work together to make sure that we not let you. Basically, he doesn't want me to have any issues with my MS as best that he can. And so he said, because I'm new to this, basically those couple of days that I had dizziness, when it lasted more than 24 hours, I should have contacted them to have an MRI done. He said, because that could have been a small relapse, and basically I could have had an active lesion, active old lesion, or an active new lesion on my brain, and I should have contacted his office to get an MRI scan done at that time. So being that I had that issue, he has scheduled me for an MRI tomorrow on the 28th. So I'm going in for MRI to see if I have any activity that had taken place since the last time he saw me and since the last time I had an MRI. He's going to be able to tell from my old MRI to the new MRI that I'll be doing tomorrow if there was any change in the way my brain looks. So I'm anxious to do that MRI. Well, I'm anxious to get the results. I'm not anxious to do the MRI because I hate being in the machine for that length of time. But I am anxious to get an MRI done just so I can see if my medication, Gilenya, is still working for me. He said that, well, basically I did ask if there has been any new activity going on, what would we do? And he said, because we need to treat my MS aggressively to prevent any disability. He wants me to not, the best that we can as a team, prevent any disability. He will most likely change my medication if my brain activity, my MRI scans show that there has been some change. I worry about that because I like taking the medication that I'm on now, and I think that's because it makes me feel normal. I guess that makes, I don't know if that makes any sense, because I felt normal from about 2010 into 2015 when I had no relapse after my first relapse in 2010 that I didn't know was a relapse. So I guess it's my MS medication that makes me feel normal, or maybe I wouldn't have a relapse anyway after the last one that I had in 2015. So I don't know, but right now, taking the medication that I'm on, I don't have any side effects that I'm dealing with. So I'm kind of worried about if I have to switch medications. And then I guess if it shows that it's not really working, even though I'm not feeling anything, but if my brain doesn't look like it did the last time, I guess the medication really wouldn't be working. So I'm just talking myself through this as I do the video. But anyway, hopefully my MRI scan doesn't show any changes where I have to switch medications, because I know how Gilenya works. I know how I feel that it's making me feel normal. So to have to switch to something else, and not know what side effects I will incur, kind of worries me. But I guess I'm putting the cart before the horse, so I really shouldn't be worried about something that might not even take place. I don't know. So basically, that was kind of the glitch that went into the appointment that I wasn't expecting, that I would have to have an MRI because of some dizziness I was having for more than a day. Yeah, I guess I'm really not used to this MS thing, because I just thought that I needed rest. I just, that was a symptom that I had when I had my first relapse. And because I had other stuff going on when I had my first relapse, and then last month when I had the dizziness, that was the only thing I had. I didn't know to look at that as a relapse. So yeah, I'm still learning. And I guess I gotta think that this is serious. I feel so normal that I guess I just took that for granted. Just lay down, get some rest, and get over it. Or maybe I'm just strong like that. I'm strong like my dad. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. It'll be, well, my doctor said that if I don't hear from him, that all is good. Not to worry. He'll only call me if my MRI doesn't look normal or doesn't look like my last MRI. Otherwise, don't look to hear from him. So if I don't hear from him, it's a good thing. Of course, though, me being the researcher I am going to, even if I don't hear from him, I'm going to go to the imaging place and get a copy of the report as well as the CD, so I can read for myself. Because to not hear from the doctor because everything is good, I need to read for myself what the scan or what the report says. And we also talked about I wanted to know, when will I be tested for the JC virus? And he said, okay, so we discussed this before. Again, if you find out that you're JC positive, what are you going to do? And I said, stop taking my Gelenium medication. He said, see, I don't want you stressing, worried about something that we have other answers to than just coming off your medication. He explained to me that medicine is way far advanced than when people was first being diagnosed with MS, and when people would have issues with JC virus and the PML situation. He asked me what was my worryation in regards to if I was JC positive or not. And I told him that if I am JC positive, my worryation would be getting sick with PML and having severe disability or incurring death. And he said that we're so far in advance with medication or with medicine today that if I started having symptoms that look like PML, and then he gave a description to my husband what to look for. If my walking is off, I seem incoherent, or some other examples he gave him when he was talking. He's then switched to talk to him, so he'll know what to look for. He was saying that there is, I would be hospitalized. They could, I guess, flush my system and get my immune system back up with whatever medications that they would do to just basically flush my system and get my immune system up to reverse having a serious issue from PML, catching it in the early stage. And he said, yeah, I will probably have to recover, go through a recovery of a long period, but I don't have to worry about severe disability or even death like we used to back in the day before being this far in advance with medicine. So that conversation, that made me feel better, because I just thought, if you become JC positive and you not know that you're JC positive and you develop PML, that once you develop PML, there was no going back. I thought it was just either severe disability or death. So I feel better, like I say, after having that conversation. So ultimately, I had a great appointment because of our discussions, and my doctor really showing that he cares. Yeah, I felt great about that appointment, and I was able to ask a lot of questions, and he answered my questions and concerns, and he really was hounding in on don't stress. Stress is what causes relapses, and he wants me to not stress over anything as much as possible. And he said that basically my stressing, if I was stressing over anything, could have caused my issues last month. So I guess I still have some practicing to do with not stressing over things. I don't know what I could have been stressing over. I'm happy. I'm good. So I do a lot of praying. I think about my son. Oh, speaking of my son. Okay, so switching subjects here. My son is in the military, and he was due to come home for leave on the 17th of this month, February, on a Friday. Me and his dad was going to go pick him up. Had it all planned out. We were going to go pick him up that Friday night from the airport. Well, Valentine's Day is my husband's birthday. And so I came home, cooked a dinner for my husband, and we were chilling in bed, watching TV, and then shut everything down, dozed off to sleep. Phone ring. It's my daughter. She called. She wanted to know, was I asleep? But, being woke up out of my sleep in that time of the night, my mind automatically went to something is wrong. And I asked her, I said, is everything okay? And she say, oh, yes, ma'am. Can you come to the door? And I was like, well, what's wrong? But she had already said nothing was wrong, but, disoriented, being woke up from the ring of the phone. And my husband had done jumped up, and I was like, it's Courtney. She said she needed me to come to the door, which just didn't make sense that time of the night. Why do she need me to come to the door? I don't know. So I went to the door. He was following me to the door, and I opened the door. I didn't see her car, but I see her, and I'm like, what's wrong? And when I said that, all of a sudden my son appeared from around the corner. Okay. Yes, my baby surprised me. He came home early. He tricked me, rather. He knew he was coming home on Valentine. And he would not give me any information as far as his plane ticket. He said he'll let me know once he gets to Seattle, the time that he's supposed to make it here for us to pick him up, but he wouldn't give me too much information. And however it is, it worked out perfect. He surprised me, and I just didn't expect it at all. It was awesome. When I seen him, I was like, my baby is home, and I started crying. It was beautiful. And it was a blessing. And maybe that was what I was stressing about last month. Like, just making sure that he get back from overseas safely and just get home safely. And I don't know, but I did a lot of praying, so I don't think I was really stressing. But then, stress that you think you can handle could still be bothersome to you, even though you think you're handling it. But however it is, it was great. It was a blessing that, I don't know, I was just proud of all of my kids. It was both of my daughters, well, I have 2 kids, and then I have a daughter by another mother. So both of my girls and my oldest daughter husband, along with my son, plotted to surprise me. And so they knew ever since last month that they were going to surprise me and their dad. And so, yeah, my son, he got me good. It was awesome. So anyway, switching back to my doctor. However, I'm getting tongue-tied now. However, I am going tomorrow to have the MRI done, and I will come back and do a follow-up video to let you all know when I get my results what my MRI says. You know, if it's a good MRI, bad MRI, if there's a new old lesion that was active, basically if my doctor's seen any changes, and if there is any changes, what he's suggesting that we're going to do. So you all pray for me that there is no change in my MRI, that I get to continue on the medication that I am on, that is working perfectly, and then after this MRI, I guess I won't have to have another MRI until a year from tomorrow. Initially, I was going to have an MRI if I hadn't had the dizzy issue. My next MRI was going to be scheduled for June. Yeah, June. But now I'm having to do it now. And so, like I say, a year from now, I'll do another one. Or if I have another issue, then that'll make me have to do an MRI sooner than a year. So, yeah. Anywho, thank you all for watching. I hope I haven't bored you all. So stay tuned for my next video. I hope to come back at least a few days after getting my results and record the video to let you all know what my status is. So until then, love you all. Take care and be blessed. Bye.